What's up, guys? This is Kalo, and normally I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, but welcome back to another emergency episode of Community Kitchen, and today I'm joined by John Hanson. Why don't you say what's up?
What's up? Let's talk about some Pokemon, huh?
They were potentially, no pun intended, they were cooking today, albeit for that short 5-minute trailer. But that's neither here nor there. But before we get into all the Pokemon news, we'd like to thank each and every one of you guys for liking and subscribing here to Game Sandwich. And if you're new here, consider joining our Discord where we're talking about games 24/7. Now, Pokemon Legends EA. We got a trailer. We got a deep dive. I want to get your thoughts on this. How we feeling? What are the vibes?
I don't know really what I was expecting going in, because this game is getting an extra year of development, which is more than most Pokemon games get. And I don't know, I just kind of came away lukewarm from this. Like, there's a lot of stuff in here. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. It's like, it's another Pokemon game. It's not, it looks like, yeah, they just took the Legends game from Arceus and they're just keeping it within the city of Lumios, and that's it. And it's just like, okay, it doesn't look like it's really breaking down barriers or anything, which I didn't really expect it to. We're talking about Pokemon here. Yeah, it just looks like it's going to be a good game. That's really all I got out of this. How about you?
I'm the same way where it's like, all right, heading into it, was I expecting earth-shattering features and like, oh my gosh, this game looks amazing? No, obviously not. I like to go into this with very low expectations. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I gotta rewatch that trailer. I don't know if they showed the game running on the Switch or the Switch 2.
Yeah, that's one thing. They didn't specify.
Which makes me think it's like, is there something more here that they're gonna do after, I think it's, what, April? That they're doing that Switch 2 stuff, so maybe they drop drop like an in-game, like, oh, this is running on the Switch 2. But as far as what we're getting here for Pokemon Legends EA, again, it kind of validated all the rumors about you'll be able to catch Pokemon in the city, the 3 starters, Tepig, Chikorita, and Totodile. Love me some Totodile. But, it's good. Like, I always say with Pokemon Legends, because now it's a spin-off series, I'm not expecting the Earth-Shattering. The Earth-Shattering, Gen 10, this time next year, whenever that reveal goes down, hopefully, that's when I'm expecting the big stuff.
Yeah.
We're back in the Lumiose City, last seen in X and Y. What are your thoughts on this game being more of an urban feel compared to the more open plains and stuff like that?
I'm kind of, I don't know. So they obviously, when they first teased this game, whenever it was last year, they said, "Oh yeah, this is going to be set in Lumiose," and we knew the X and Y stuff. We knew Mega Evolutions were coming back, and I was like, "Okay, cool." But I kind of figured it would be like Legends Arceus, where Lumiose was like it was kind of like a hub area. Like, you would continuously come back here for your research stuff, talking to villagers and all that stuff. But whenever it was time to like catch Pokemon, you would go outside of the city. That's kind of what I envisioned here. I wasn't really ready for like sections of the city to be like boarded off to just be wild zones. It's kind of weird, actually. What they showed was like, you go down a street and there's like cars and like apartments and stuff, but that's not a lived-in area. It's just for wild Pokemon. I don't know. That was a little weird to me. It was a bit weird seeing like someone trying to catch a Fletchling like out on the street. I don't know why that threw me off so much, but it did. So I don't know. I guess that could be cool. It doesn't really do anything for me. The one thing I am curious about is, with the game being more closed in, compare this to Legends Arceus that was very wide open. I wonder if they made this decision to try and help the game look better. So, in this trailer, I didn't notice any of the very bad frame rates that were in Legends Arceus. So, for example, I'm not really someone that can tell a big difference in frame rate. I don't know the difference between 30 and 60 FPS with my
Same
eyes.
here.
I just can't tell it. But when it's bad, you can definitely tell the difference. So in Legends Arceus, whenever, especially when there was a flying Pokemon that was out in the distance, it you could tell the difference in its wings flapping.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that in here, but I think that's a lot of that's because the environment is so closed in. There wasn't really a chance for far off Pokemon to be seen. So I wonder if they took that criticism and they're trying to keep everything a little more closed in so that the game doesn't look as bad as it did. Of course, we don't know if this game is even being made for the Switch 2. It could be just a Switch 1 title that's just playable on Switch 2 for backwards compatibility. But yeah, the whole wild section seemed a bit weird to me because it's in the city, but I don't know. I just think it's weird. It's just gonna feel weird when we find a Pokemon that shouldn't feel like it should be in the city.
Like a ride on? Like just
Like
stop it
Rhydon?
around?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
like, oh, I'm walking down this alleyway and here comes Leevor.
yeah.
It's like no, that doesn't feel right. So we'll see how they handle that.
It looks very dystopian because it's like there was that one part of the trailer where there's like an abandoned car and it looks like a workshop or like a flower shop that was abandoned, and it's all separated by these giant green shields where it's like I get the vision of what they're trying to do, but again, like you said, it just kind of seems out of place. My only hope for this, and because the game could potentially be more closed off into the city, we add verticality where you go into a building and maybe it's like you go through the different levels. Maybe that's me asking too much out of a Pokemon game, but like battling on a rooftop, I gotta watch the trailer again. But I don't know if there was a moment where we're on top of something, like overlooking.
They showed the player like on street level and then they teleport to a rooftop. But they didn't like really show what that was for.
Yeah.
Like they just showed it like you just walk up to it and then you're teleported up top, and I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, there could be something cool there. Like maybe you see more flying Pokemon up there. Maybe at nighttime you could see like Drifloon flying in the area or something. That would be cool. But yeah, they just didn't really go anywhere with it in this trailer.
Yeah, and now I guess I want to talk about the battling mechanic that seems to be revamped. I call me dumb, but like it's what it was in Legends Arceus, but like maybe a little tweak here and there.
The big difference here is that you can move with your Pokemon and you can like make them dodge attacks, which I'm willing to be like, okay, yeah, I get it. That's a different idea. I don't know if that's going to be really fun to play with because if it's still a turn-based game. So if let's say you and me are battling and I have like 30 seconds to wait for you to select a move, and in that time I'm just anticipating what your next move is. Like, okay, oh, I think he's going to hit the button here. Let me call back my Pokemon and make it dodge. Like, I'm not crazy about that idea, so I hope it's not easily manipulated. I would rather just the Legends Arceus thing come back where it was just, oh yeah, this is just normal Pokemon battles, but you're out in the open and you can do all the normal stuff. I don't know how I feel about the movement thing in battles right now.
Yeah, I'm very much in this camp where I want that more open and free, less structured kind of battles. But again, it's like what we're seeing here, where I'm like, on paper it sounds fun, but in practice, in actual Pokemon games, it's like I don't know if that's gonna really fly here. It looks okay. I just need to see more of it. Again, with this game too, the biggest gripe for me, late 2025. What does that even mean? Like, are we getting November? Are we getting December?
It'll probably be October or November. That's usually where big Pokemon games release. The first Legends game was like January, which is odd for them, but was there Was that when Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond came out? Like
Might
just a
have
few
been.
months before?
Might have been.
I don't remember. So yeah, that's gonna be the big Pokemon game this year. So I expect it to come out in November.
Yeah, I don't know. Pokemon Legends ZA overall, I think it's going to be a fun time. Again, with these spin-off things, you take it for what it's worth. Everyone liked Legends Arceus, and we're going to be getting more of that here. Last little vestige of the game and its lore, because I've been doing a deep dive on this. The ZA, I think that's his name in the trailer, is like the hotel owner. Apparently, he's like
His name is AZ.
AZ. Gosh, why they got to do that?
They did that right away, and I was like, okay, that's like Kojima levels of lazy naming.
Yeah.
Like that was bad.
It is, but apparently there's something there where like that person was in the Great Wars for Lumio City. He's like 3,000 years old. Again, I think that's where the plot kind of funnels into. So, again, like that's another thing that's yet to be discussed. What's the plot gonna be? Like before, it was you're making the Pokedex, you're learning how to capture Pokemon. In this,
You're called back in time for some god
yeah,
himself, Arceus, to do this. They did show Zygarde at the end in its dog form. I always thought that was weird that there was a dog form and then a snake form.
it's so
That's weird.
confusing. And then there's like this giant form where he's like a Megazord, where I'm like, who is this?
Yeah. So Zygarde, obviously with the name ZA, there's probably going to be a lot there to work with. I don't know. The one thing I'm a little you mentioned this in our Discord chat. Be sure to join our Discord to talk with us in the description below. But you mentioned that you were kind of disappointed that they never showed any of the new variants for the starters.
Yeah.
So in Legends Arceus, you had Cyndaquil. I'm totally blanking on the other two because Cyndaquil was my choice.
Rowlet
And Oshawott.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were normal, but their final evolution was changed. And they didn't show that for Totodile, Chikorita, and Tepig this time. I still think that they're going to do different forms for the final evolutions. I was a little disappointed that they didn't show any new Mega Evolutions. So, like, they just kind of reconfirmed that Mega Evolutions are coming back. And it's like, yeah, we knew that. It would have been really cool to see something new.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed. They didn't show, like, anything new besides the, like, battling thing. I think a while ago they were, like, teasing a new Eevee evolution and, like, nothing there. Just no new Pokemon. So I really, at this point, I am kind of worried that this game will have no new Pokemon in it. Which
don't say that.
I don't think that's a good move.
No.
No, okay, I shouldn't say new Pokemon, but like new variant of Pokemon. Because this is a modern day take where Legends Arceus was in the past, so we got the different I always forget how to pronounce it. Is it Hisuian?
I say Hisuian.
However you pronounce it. Like there was a bunch of different forms and evolutions of those Pokemon. There's no look of that in this first trailer here. So I'm hoping that we get those variants, but man, I'm a little worried that it's just going to be a pretty basic X and Y Pokédex.
That's what's funny to me whenever we talk about this game, because it's like you just said, this is our first trailer. Like, this game comes out later this year in a few months' time, and it's like, all right, first trailer, this is kind of on par with what a first game trailer is, but I do think the impact of, like, here's Mega Flygon. I keep pushing that narrative. That's got to happen. Austin John Plays did a video about this and said there's a file, an audio file for a Mega Jinx, which I'm like, Jinx, come on. Like, we need different ones, please. But who knows? Maybe we get a trailer over the summer. I almost assume that's a lock. Maybe at the Switch 2 thing, we get more Legend ZA. That could be a thing. But yeah, I completely forgot the fact that the base forms of the starters were just normal, and then they changed. So, like, in my head, I was like, oh, they don't look different. Why aren't they? The one thing I just need is Justice for Meganium. I love that Pokemon. I think it's well worth it, but who knows?
Real quick, I I yesterday we recorded our top 5 Pokemon video for Duelist, and I mentioned how Gen 2 is my favorite of the games, and that still remains true. Are you a little put off that Chikorita and Totodile are the options here? That there's 2 Gen 2 starters in here?
I don't read into the weeds with that stuff. I'm like, oh, great. Like, I like those 2 Pokemon. They're the starters. Great.
Mhm.
But I do understand the fan, like, overall, like, how can you include 2 Pokemon from the same generation?
It's a bit weird to me because Legends Arceus, they were all from different generations.
Yeah.
I would have preferred them keep doing that because you could have gone Totodile, Pet Pig, and let's throw out a grass one, just Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been cool to have. I just like the representation from all of from the 3 different generations. I'm not complaining. I'm probably going to go with Totodile because Feraligatr is so cool, and if they do a new variant on him, I'm very excited to see what that looks like. But yeah, I was a little thrown off. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting choice.
I'm cracking the code live here on the show. But do you think it has a lot to do with the fact that practically every other starter has gotten, whether it's a Mega Evolution, regional form, or something like that, maybe they're like, hey, like, these 3 don't have anything. Here's a bone. We're going to give you the variant for these 3. Maybe that's it? I don't know. That's really me grasping at straws here.
Could be. Yeah.
Because there's no way you go back to Gen 1, because that got everything.
Yeah, for sure. But you could also go past the X and Y games. You could bring back Pokemon from past games into this. What if the variant that we're talking about, like, the only difference is that it's just these Pokemon have Mega Evolutions now, and Totodile still turns into a normal Feraligatr? Will that be disappointing?
Again, unpacking live and in living color. Legends Arceus was set in the past, and that whole thing was about evolution and how Pokemon evolve over time. Because this game's set in the future, we already, like, know.
Is it set in the future, though? They didn't say that, but it felt very present day to me.
I think it's, like, implied. Again, this is just my assumption, but if this game, taken at face value, is set in the future, we already kind of know the Pokemon. Like, are they really going to change? Like, it also depends on the timing. That's the biggest thing here. If it's set in the present day, obviously we're not getting different forms of these guys and just Megas. So, I don't know. I think that's the problem with Legends Arceus. It set the tone of, yes, this is a spin-off. It's totally different. Here are regional variants of these Pokemon because you'd never really seen them in the past. And there you go. But again, like you said at the start of the video, this is Pokemon. You can probably just expect Megas.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel... like I said at the beginning, I just feel very lukewarm about this. I don't feel like this was a very exciting reveal of the game. Like, I wanted to see what was new coming in this, and they really just didn't do a lot with it. I feel... I don't know. Disappointed sounds too strong.
Yeah.
For the first reveal, but it's just like... This was the safest route for them, and it doesn't build excitement for the game really at all. Obviously, I'm still going to play it. I'm a Pokemon nut. Yeah. And with the Switch 2 coming out this year, I'm super excited for more games to play on it. Yeah, I just feel like that April 2nd Direct, if this game is there, it's really got to show a lot more than what this trailer did.
Yeah, it's such a weird time for Nintendo because everything they want to show, like the big stuff, you're on halt until April 2nd or April 4th, something like that. April 4th. You're on halt. You can't really do much and be like, hey, here's Legends EA in all of its glory because, you know, it's got to be an engine and stuff like that. I don't know. Again, like you said, I'm still going to play it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. But it's like the most lukewarm thing. Like, it's, like, here we go. Pokemon Presents overall. You know, mobile games, TCG Pocket. I think there's new actual cards. That was a weird thrown in announcement. And then Pokemon Sleep. Whatever. It's all the fun stuff. But that's about it here for this episode of Community Kitchen. If you have any thoughts about Pokemon Legends EA or this Pokemon Presents, let us know in the comments down below. And if you want to talk more to us, we're in our Discord. Links to that is all in the video description down below. But as of right now, I've been Kalo, joined by John Hanson, and we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.